So, on behalf of SCORE Foundation and the IWay team, I would like to welcome all of you. And today we have a special speaker, Dr. Sharad Philip from Bangalore. He is a psychiatrist working with NIMHANS, and he has had his vision impairment from early days. And in spite of the challenges, he chose the difficult path. He chose to follow his passion and did medicine and then specialized in psychiatry. And today he's working with one of the premier institutions of the country when it comes to mental health. So we're going to listen to Sharad talking about his life. He will also be talking about certain aspects about dealing with adversity, the importance of self-esteem, and how do you work around it, and positive thinking, and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot that we can take away from today's session. This session is going live on Facebook, so the request, as Shruti said, please keep your videos on. कृपया अपने वीडियोस को ऑन रखिएगा ताकि जो फेसबुक पे ये देख रहे हैं वो हम सबको देख पाएंगे और कृपया आप अपना ऑडियो को म्यूट रखिएगा ताकि जब डॉक्टर शरद अपना वक्ता कर रहे हैं, अपना स्पीच दे रहे हैं, तो हम लोग सब शांति से सुन पाएंगे और इनका उनका उनका टॉक के बाद there will be a question answer session, and please don't leave because we also have a psychologist, a colleague of Dr. Sharad, who's with us on this show, who would be doing some interesting exercises with certain psychological tests. So that would be an interesting thing for all of us. That's what Dr. Sharad has promised. So please stay on so that we not only listen to Sharad, we also have the opportunity of participating in the little psychological play that we're going to have at the end of the show. So, Sharad, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope I'm audible. शामिल हुए सभी को नमस्कार मेरी तरफ से. मेरा नाम शरद है. Are you all able to hear me? If it's okay, sir, I'll proceed.
Yes, everything is okay.
Fine, sir. So as sir just introduced a little bit, I'm Sharad, and I am a psychiatrist by training and qualification. I am also a family medicine practitioner, and as sir has already alluded to it, जैसे कि सर ने थोड़ा सा पहले बताया था कि मैं भी दृष्टि बाधित हूँ, and this is something called retinitis pigmentosa, जो मेरे को और मेरे दो और भाइयों को, हम तीनों को पीड़ित we three are suffering from it. Okay, so अच्छा, तो I'll just tell you a little bit about my journey. और आज की जो ये थीम टॉपिक है जो सर ने बोला कि सेल्फ एस्टीम के बारे में and how to cope with adversity, यानी चुनौतियों से कैसे हम मतलब सामना कैसे कर सकते हैं और अपना आत्मविश्वास, अपना एक आत्म जो निर्भरता जिसको हम काफी बारी सुन चुके हैं, इसका कैसे हम कर सकते हैं, हाउ टू डू इट बेस्ट. कुछ चीजें जो हैं मैंने तो अपने आप अपने तजुर्बे से अपने अनुभव से ही सीखा है. Some things I have learned only by doing and understanding and trying things here and there. Of course, I have here with me one of my very good colleagues and friends. That's Deeksha. She's an expert and trained positive psychologist. So we've got something lined up for you. तो ऐसा है कि थोड़ी देर के लिए मैं बोलूँगा, and उसके बाद, and after that, after I finish about 20 minutes, Miss Deeksha will take over and she'll tell you some things from the positive psychology thing. क्योंकि देखिए, there are so many other things other than one's own experience that we can always learn from. And then she's got one very simple exercise for all of us to do, and I hope that all of you would be there for that exercise so that we can have some positive takeaways from all of this. Okay, so when I talk about myself, a lot of people are curious as to, यार तुम्हें आंखों की अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो तुम डॉक्टर कैसे बन गए और तुम डॉक्टर क्यों बने. My answer to that is this is something that I've had as a dream. I was very good with studies, with biology, with math, with history. I just could do things well, and I had better vision back then. And having a progressive vision loss made it very uncertain for me कि मैं आगे जाके करूँगा क्या. But then my parents and my mother especially raised me up in a way to believe that, you know, whatever you want to do, that is independent of whatever limitations you have. जो चीजें हमें सीमित कर रही हैं आ, वो नहीं डिटरमिन करेंगे कि आप क्या अचीव करेंगे, आप कहाँ तक पहुंचेंगे. इट्स एक्चुअली योर ग्रिट, इट्स एक्चुअली योर परसिवियरेंस. आपका जो हम सबका प्रयास रहता है, जिस इंटेंसिटी के साथ हम उसके पीछे दौड़ते हैं, ड्रीम्स के पीछे, अपने सपनों को, we believe that and we are faithful to those things. I think that determines where you go. So in this regard, I was always someone who measured up myself against my peers. So even when I got into MBBS, I had about 6/36 partial vision in one of my eyes, and the other one was a little bit worse, and I had very bad night vision. So raat ko, going and bumping into objects, talking to walls, आदमी ऐसा लगता था कि यार आदमी तो he's going to get hit by a car or something like that. तो ये सब चीजें जब थी तो there used to be some names given, there used to be labeling, and all of that was something that would deeply affect, and I would not want to show it in front of people. I would not want to make it obvious that it has affected me. But एक टाइम पे जब होता है कि हम अकेले होते हैं ना, तो ये सारी चीजें वापस आती हैं. And then the question comes, what, are you up to it? Are you the right place you are today? And or do you think you should not be here? Have you done a mistake? So all of these things used to reflect back onto the dreams, the expectations. Ki, okay, did I overthink? Did I overestimate myself and my capabilities? Am I as other people say? Should I accept what they say about me? Should I accept the image that yes, you're a blind person? Yeah, should I accept the image that you're a fool to have thought of doing something that even others who are sighted find it challenging? So in that regard, my self-esteem was something that was like it was like a wave, जो एक लहर जैसी थी, कभी ऊपर कभी नीचे. कुछ अच्छा हुआ तो then I would feel good. कुछ अच्छा नहीं गया, then it would feel bad. And this was something that kept me occupied. And trying to write my self-image, my self-esteem has been something quite tough. जो लोग जहाज पे सफर किए हैं, means those who have been on a ship, you'll realize that suppose you're standing on the deck and you keep looking at the waves and you keep going up and down, it's quite a nauseating experience. It was the same for me. My self-esteem goes up for little things, self-esteem goes down for littler things. And that was tough. And it used to make it that much more difficult to function and achieve things and complete things. But then, there's something that people say that's an experienced seaman will tell you that, what, don't keep your eyes on the bobbing waves. You look at the horizon, that's constant. And that constant today is what I use. That constant is that no matter what my disability is, what my achievements or accomplishments or failures or what other people say, I'm still a human being. I am someone's son. I am loved by God. I am someone's brother. I am someone's friend. So there is a network, and that is irrespective of what you do. That focus on identity helps you to have one image of yourself, that no matter what you do, you're still loved, you're still accepted how you are, and you'll still be taken care of, you'll still be secure with someone. These are things which are true universally. I would say that it's very difficult to land in a place where you don't have anybody else to love you or accept you. It's not that I'm saying it's impossible. It's just that, it takes that much more adversity, and we're not talking about that today. So that understanding of identity as different from your performance, as different from what others say about you, is very important. That's the first step to keeping your self-esteem with you, keeping your self-confidence, keeping your capabilities and your motivation centered. I think that's my experience in that regard. The next step that comes is how to deal with the things. There are challenges. Some uh, challenges come by because I have done something wrong. Some challenges come by because someone else has done something wrong. Some challenges is just because things happen. How do you deal with that? uh, Another thing that used to happen to me was whenever I used to see certain challenges coming up, certain bad things happening, I'd keep on introspecting. मतलब अंदर ही अंदर अपने आप को एग्जामिन करना कि मेरी तरफ से क्या गलती है, काश मैंने ये नहीं किया होता, काश आई कुड गो बैक इन टाइम, है ना, वापस जाके इसको ठीक कराता. ऐसे एक जो इच्छुक होके इट यूज्ड टू बी. हेलो, हाय. ऐसे इच्छुक होके एक स्टेज पे पहुंच जाता था कि व्हाट नाउ आई फील एवरीथिंग इज लॉस्ट. बट देन again that goes back to your identity, that you're human, you are also going to make mistakes, you're human, you're also going to have failures. And also to understand that at no point are you completely alone in all of this. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody has a good day, everybody also has a bad day. So that was something that kind of helped me to link up with people and understand that this is something that's important. And I kind of normalized that. And that was something that really helped me to go forward. Not that I'm perfect at that now. I still have those down days, what I call them. And, where I just keep on thinking as to, oh, what did I do? I could have done this better. Or if I'd not done this, uh, that keeps coming. But yes, this is one way that I can tell you from my experience how I battled through that. Another thing was to how to handle when other people around you do things. You could think that they deliberate things, they deliberate challenges they're coming. A lot of times I used to think that it's linked to my disability. किसी को अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कि ये एक अंधा डॉक्टर आगे बढ़ रहा है, ये किसी को अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कि ये जो आया है इसको क्या पता है, इसको कुछ नहीं आता है, इसको कैसे इतना आ गया. I thought these were deliberate attempts at trying to put me down and all of those things. Uh, Again, it went back. I had to go back and hook it to that same constant horizon of an identity that, I'm loved, I'm accepted no matter what I do. And this was there. I mean, there are going to be good people in this world, there are going to be bad people in this world, there are going to be people who are going to watch as I fall down in a ditch or as I trip over something, and there are going to be people who are going to help me up. There are going to be people who are going to laugh at me. That's just how the world is. So isme again, I kind of accepted that there's nothing I can do about it except to kind of do my part and go ahead with that. So this was something that made a lot of help to me. And in terms of challenges, now, like for example, this one when we look at uh, things like the pandemic. Now, this is something that happens to everybody. The pandemic changed so many things for everybody. यार अब ये हो गया यार, अब इसको कैसे, how can I handle this? I was doing well till now, अभी तक तो अच्छा चल रहा था, अब तो नहीं होने वाला, अब नहीं संभाला जाएगा. This point comes, with your self-image teetering on the brink, this point will always come कि, you're at the point of giving up. And at that time, it's just important to realize that, you've come this far, आगे भी तो जाएंगे. And this is a good big thing that you can always remember, that there's no there's no challenge that you will face which someone else has not faced. There's no challenge that you will face which someone else hasn't found a solution for. And I can speak again for an average. Hello. Yeah, I can speak again for most people. I'm not talking about the worst kind of adversities and all of that, but are day-to-day things that we can kind of deal with. So this brings me to some things that what we call as coping skills or problem solving. So I think someone
Sorry
needs to be
about that.
muted.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Right. So, so this brings me to, okay, so I kind of summed up from the identity at the horizon and how we can link up things from there and look at how to go through life. And I mean, now these kinds of things, I mean, something there for everybody, everyone who goes through whatever philosophy of life, whatever they subscribe to. Another thing that I can say here is that, you know, this kind of approach, remaining aware of your own abilities, of your own you know, so-called graces, you know, the good things, the things that you can be thankful for in life, are stepping stones to having a coping skills approach to things, and to having a problem solving approach to life. um, One of the things is, whenever people feel low, we kind of disconnect with people. We try to put distance between us. We try to find differences between us and them. There's this kind of quote unquote othering that happens. हम अपने आप को थोड़ा सा अलग कर लेते हैं लोगों से, थोड़ा भिन्न रहने लगते हैं, अपने में रहने लगते हैं, अकेले में रहने लगते हैं, और जब ऐसा होता है तो हमें और डाउन फील करेगा. We're not able to share our issues. We're not able to share our problems when we feel low. I just have one thing to say here. Do the exact opposite of what you feel at that time. अगर मन करता है कि अकेले बैठूं, उसी टाइम 4 फ्रेंड्स को बुला लीजिए, फोन पे बात कर लीजिए, या फिर जूम कॉल कर लीजिए. Do something that gets you out of that moment over there. It's transient. That kind of doubt that comes, that kind of जो लगता है कि अब नहीं हो पाएगा, अब तो I just feel that no one's going to be able to understand my problems. ऐसा नहीं है. Everybody around you knows something about you that you don't know. And उनके साथ आप बात करेंगे, they will be a source of encouragement. वो आपको प्रोत्साहित करेंगे. They're your support. They're your they can be your they can be your bulwark. Like, they can be your pushing force behind you. So this is something that I would just request. This is the most important thing that I would want to emphasize. Not you know, separating yourself from people, not putting a distance between you and others for the sake of saying that, you know, I'm different, or you know, I'm going through a low and no one can understand. It's always important to just be connected and reach out, because we are, after all, social animals, and we're not going to be an island. No man is an island, whatever disability comes. And this is something that's important as far as I see. With regard to a problem solving approach, yes, this is something that I feel, again, you will be able to focus on this if you're able to take away your eyes from your bobbing self esteem and your bobbing self image. If you're able to, you know, allocate more of your mental resources to trying to understand, okay, this is a problem, and this is something that I can do, or this is something that has been done before, and another person has gone through this, let me discuss with them. Oh, what can I see in terms of what other things have people done? You know, these are definitely things that will help you and stand you in good stead. So in effect, I see that self-esteem and a positive self-image is quite essential and central to being a survivor, being someone who thrives in your environment, being a change maker, being an influencer. And you know, I can assure you that if your self-image is correct, and you know, you always remember that you are who you are, you have come this far, and you acknowledge yourself for that, you validate yourself for that, you will always be able to do that for another person. And just imagine, that gives you a sense of worth, that gives you a sense of self-worth, which is quite extraordinary. Knowing that you made a difference in someone's life is something that nothing, no joy in this world, I think, can take away, or take that place. Knowing that you've helped someone, knowing that you've done something positive, And without you, this would not have happened. That's like your contribution to this world. That's like your contribution to another person's life. This is, I think, uh, very important in a way. If you look at it, if we are all connected and we do these little acts in each other's lives, the world's going to be a much better place. And the world is becoming a much better place, because I know that from today onwards, a lot of you are going to do that. And a lot of you are going to apply these kinds of principles, and look at this in a different way. I mean, what I've said is not something that's restricted to a religion or a philosophy or anything like that. It's just that I just want you to look at yourselves as human beings and not as human doings. you know you don't have to do something to be human. You are who you are. You're the you're again someone's someone. And that's the take home thing that I would say in all of this, right? So I'm going to now hand over my time to my good friend and colleague, Ms. Deeksha. She's going to tell you of some other things that you can use in terms of having a positive self-image, and how that's important, and what you can do from the positive psychology perspective. Uh, I have kind of shared some nuggets from my own life. I know that they have not been descriptive or elaborate, but then this is not meant to be that. It's meant to be more about you and how you can do better with better self-esteem. Over to you, Deeksha.
Thank you so much, Doc. Good evening, everybody. Namaste. मेरा नाम दीक्षा शर्मा है. I'm a budding psychologist, currently pursuing my triple majors from Bangalore. Today, I'm going to talk about something very relevant, which doctor just mentioned, जो doctor ने अभी बस किया. So I will take over from where he left, saying that we are all human beings and not human doings. And issues like self-esteem, self-doubt, overthinking, overestimating a situation is something that all of us go through on a day-to-day basis. And the challenge remains as to how do we bounce back and cope up with these crises that we go through. Now, बहुत सिंपल है. मैंने एक 5 ingredients की रेसिपी बनाई है हम सबके लिए, which I call the PERMA model, and you can remember it on your fingers. So 5 fingers and 5 ingredients. The first ingredient is positive emotions. The second is E, which is engagement. The third is R, which is relationships. The fourth is M, which is meaning. And the fifth is A, which is accomplishment. So that makes the whole model, which is PERMA model, and that's our recipe for well-being and resilience. So coming to the first ingredient of our recipe, positive emotions. Now all of us know कि जब हम खुश होते हैं, जब हम positive होते हैं, तो we respond better towards our environment, we perform better, we are more hopeful about our future, and we function better. But question remains as to how do we remain positive on a day-to-day basis. Now, this answer to this is very simple. You surround yourself with everything that makes you smile. अब ये बहुत सिंपल चीजें हो सकती हैं जो आप अपने दिन में करते होंगे, बट आपने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया कि ये कितना इफेक्ट कर सकती हैं आपको, अगर आप इसको इस एंगल से देखें. So for some of us, food can be a great mood lifter. Like one wholesome meal a day can make you feel good, can be a great mood lifter. For some of us, talking to a friend or a confidant when we're feeling low can help feel better. For some of us, music is a great mood lifter. There's one song that all of us go to when we're feeling that dip in our day. That can be a great mood lifter. Exercise for some of us is a great escape. I say this because, and I by exercise I don't mean intense workouts. Just taking a stroll around your house or going down for a short walk can also be a great mood lifter. So these are things that you can do on a day-to-day basis to check how you're feeling. And also inculcating something like maintaining a gratitude diary. Now, it does not have to necessarily be you write down everything that you're thankful for, or every blessing that you count. You can record your own thoughts, you can type them down, and go back to reading them or listening to it whenever you're feeling low. Another thing that I suggest, that when you're overthinking, when you're overestimating, always sit down comfortably and do a brain dump. Now, brain dump is a very simple technique. You put down all your thoughts unfiltered, बिना कुछ आप filter लगाए आप अपने सारे thoughts एक paper में लिख सकते हैं या type कर सकते हैं या फिर record कर सकते हैं और उसको वापस जाके सुन सकते हैं. और ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो आपके जितने भी thoughts हैं वो sense बनाए. They can be as random as calendar, table, laptop, coffee mug. और आपको कहीं ना कहीं एक पैटर्न बनता हुआ दिखेगा जहाँ आपको समझ आएगा कि ओ ये चीजें थी मेरे दिन में जिनसे मुझे खुशी मिली और ये चीजें थी जो शायद मुझे अपसेट कर दी. जब आप उसको वापस जाके पढ़ोगे या सुनोगे आपको एक पैटर्न बनता हुआ दिखेगा. नाउ कमिंग डाउन टू आवर सेकंड इंग्रेडिएंट व्हिच इज एंगेजमेंट. एंगेजमेंट को अगर मैं सिंपल शब्दों में ब्रेक डाउन करूं तो उसका मतलब ये है कि जब हम कुछ काम कर रहे हैं हम इतने ज्यादा उसमें एंग्रॉस्ड हैं कि हमें टाइम का ही पता नहीं चलता. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एंगेजमेंट एंड उसको साइकोलॉजी में फ्लो कहा जाता है. अब हम सब के लिए फ्लो का मतलब अलग अलग हो सकता है. हम कुछ लोगों को राइटिंग से बहुत ज्यादा मतलब engrossment मिलता है and they're so lost that they lose track of time. Some people enjoy spending time with their family. जब हम अपने फैमिली के साथ होते हैं, जब हम अपने प्रिय लोगों के साथ होते हैं, हमें टाइम का अंदाजा नहीं रहता, तो वो आपका फ्लो हो सकता है. एंड इसे पहचानना जरूरी इसलिए है क्योंकि अगर आप दिन में कुछ समय नहीं निकालते कुछ चीजें करने के लिए जो आपको खुश करती हैं, तो फिर then you will not know where you're going. So it is very important to take out some time of your day and invest in something that you're totally engrossed in, where you lose track of time. Make time for it. Put it in your daily schedule. If you have a routine, very good. Put it in your daily schedule and see how it makes you feel. Our third ingredient is relationships. Now, by relationships, I don't mean the stereotypical definition of relationships. I mean relationship with your parents, with your children, with your siblings, with your friends, anybody, with your companion. It could be anybody. And having positive relationships that make you feel wanted, loved, respected is very important for our well-being. Because if a relationship is destructive or if it makes you feel less included or it's one-sided, then it'll harm you. It'll be emotionally draining and it'll do less to your well-being. So having these positive relationships with everybody around you is very important. And one tip that I would want to give on that is that be cautious on what kind of relationship are you building and how much emotional investment are you putting into. And with that, I would also say that communicate when a problem comes into a picture. Have an honest conversation with the person you're feeling that distinct with, because communication is a very important part of a relationship, and relationships in long term do benefit your well-being. So that was our third ingredient. Now we come down to the fourth ingredient, which is meaning. Now, meaning in itself sounds like a very heavy word if I say find the meaning of your life. But again, it does not have to be those long-term purposes and meanings of your life. If you have one, very good. But if not, then it could be as simple as you can have the purpose of your life could just be living each day that you face to the fullest. That could be the purpose of your life, and that will give you meaning in the long term when you look back. So just giving your 100% to every day that you face can be the purpose of your life. Or it could be as simple as waking up early. You know, how many of us are having issues with fixing our sleep cycle? So waking up early could be your purpose for the next 2 months. And I always say this: break down the bigger goals into smaller chunks. So suppose you see yourself doing something bigger in the next 6 months, break it down into two months and see where you're progressing and how you're progressing, and introspect after every 2 months where you've reached. So that'll help you find purpose and stay glued to the race, I would say. And the last ingredient is accomplishment. Now, accomplishment, if broken down, means gaining mastery over your skill. And your skill does not have to be something out of the world or does not have to be something related to rocket science or something. It could be the most mundane daily tasks that we do. It's just about how we try doing it better. Now, suppose you pick up a book, you set a goal for yourself that I'm going to read 5 pages every day for a week. You slowly increase it to 10 pages every day for the next week. And by the end of the month, you'll see that you've completed a whole book. And isn't that a accomplishment? Like, how many of us struggle to finish that one book that we start? So at the end of the month, when you finished a book, it is an accomplishment. ये मैंने बहुत सिंपली आपको बताया है कि आप डे टू डे लाइफ में क्या कर सकते हो. And to spice up our last ingredient, which is accomplishment, I would say that reward yourself, reinforce yourself, and validate yourself every time you accomplish something that you had said. हम बहुत समय लगाते हैं ये सोचने में कि क्या गलत चला गया था, हमने क्या गलती की थी, बट हम बहुत कम समय देते हैं हमारी खुशियों को सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए. तो अगर हम उसको उल्टा कर दें या उसको बराबर भी कर दें कि हम अपनी खुशी भी उतनी ही मनाएं जितना हम अपना जितना हम अपना गम मनाते हैं, जितना हम टाइम सोचने में लगाते हैं कि क्या गलत चला गया था, you will see the difference. So I would say, to spice up our last ingredient, reinforcements and rewards are also very important. So this was what I had. This was our recipe. Now I have a fun activity planned for all of us. For that, I would just want all of you to sit comfortably, ekdam comfortably बैठ जाएं. I'll just turn on some music. Let me know if you can hear it. Just turning it on. Can you? Yeah? Okay. So now what I want all of us to do is कि आप अपनी आँख बंद कर लें. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. Again. Take a deep breath in and out. One last time. Take a deep breath in and out. Now I want all of us to imagine a place where we feel the most comfortable in, जहाँ रहने से हमें सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी मिलती है, जहाँ रह के हमें सबसे ज़्यादा सेफ फील होता है. I want all of us to imagine that space. Once you're there, I want you to feel your surroundings, absorb them completely, and just be in the moment. I want you to see 5 things that you can feel, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste in your favorite place. Now, I want you to find the most comfortable corner of your favorite place and sit down gently. Sit down very slowly. Feel yourself while you're doing so. Feel your surroundings. Now think about having your favorite meal sitting in that favorite place of yours. And with every bite that you take, I want you to recall every good memory that you have had. Every good person that you have met. Every good moment that you have spent. With every bite that you take, reflect on the goodness within you. Now slowly come back to the room that you're sitting in. Very slowly feel your surroundings and gently open your eyes. Now, are we all back? I think, yes, we're all back. So now what I want all of you to do is, if you have a pen and paper next to you, you can write down. If you wish to type, you can type. Take 2 minutes. If you wish to record it, please record it. Take 2 minutes and put down everything that you just saw. All your good memories, all your good moments, every time you felt inspired, every time you felt like you have inspired somebody, you have helped somebody, put it down. Either record it, type it down. अगर आप वो नहीं कर सकते तो लिख सकते हैं तो लिख दीजिए जो भी आपके पास अवेलेबल है पास में.
Wow, Diksha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No. I was just going to say that we can do the Q&A.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask is, I just hope that everyone had that wonderful time just being with themselves and realizing that, you know what, none of you needs to deserve this. This is something that you can always go to. This is always something that you can do. This is always something that you can actively seek out. This is your way of finding your own reason, your own purposes, your own good moments. And like Diksha was mentioning about finding that goodness in you, there's definitely something as deterministic as I can be and as it can sound. There's something that you've always got to do in this world that can only be done by you. No one else can be you. And that's what we'd like you to remember. You're that important. And your life is precious as everybody else's. It doesn't take disability or accomplishment to define anything. It just means that you are who you are without any of it. Those are just coincidental things. And there's a reason that accomplishments there at the end. I mean, those are ways that you can look at and you know acknowledge and validate yourself and value yourself more in your own eyes to go ahead and face all the struggles that you're going to face. And I personally learned a lot from this. There are many things that I was doing without knowing the names for things, without knowing how these things are. These are all a collection of things from what different people have been doing, and it's been assimilated and collected, and that's how it's been told. And I hope that we can remember that. And I'll ask you all to go ahead. I don't know if the questions are to be moderated or how do you want to ask, George sir?
Yeah,
Do you want?
I would like to before we open the floor. Basically, what we process we follow is people will either write their questions in the chat box, or they will raise their hand, and Shruti will kind of moderate the questions. So she will ask you the questions, or the person would be unmuted and they will ask the question. But before we do that, I think all the 48 odd people who are here would like to know a little bit about your journey through medical school. And then how did you end up doing psychiatry? Why did you take up psychiatry? And lastly, what does the day of a psychiatrist look like?
Okay, so I took up medicine because I always wanted to do it. I was very good with science and math, and back then I had a little bit more vision. And as it progressed, mine was a very atypical form of what is called as retinitis pigmentosa. There are two types of cells in one of the layers. There are 10 layers to the retina. One of the layers, there are these neuron cells called the rods and the cones. They process light, and they convert the the light energy into chemical energy so that our brain can see. Now, generally what happens is, this has happened to my brothers, and uh, it manifests itself in reducing the vision around your center. The center is spared, but everything around goes off, and that's how. But for me, my center itself had gone off in the very beginning. So there were two big scars, and then it was tough to go and do things. I took 3 years to get into medical school. I had to take 3 attempts, and twice I got into the Armed Forces Medical College in Pune. I knew I could not get in because of the physical standards and all of that over there. It was a struggle. There were times I had to go for the entrance exams, and I just request the invigilator to let me just sit next to a window where there's more light. And I'd pray every day for the entrance exams. Let it not be a cloudy day, let it not be a rainy day. And I'd hate exams which were, let's say, too early in the morning or too in the later in the evening, just because of this light thing. So from being a person who had to squint and glare and took longer times to read the papers, I slowly had to use more and more light. And so even when I got into medical school, everybody used to look at me and think I'm really different because I had like some 2, 3 table lamps. And I used to do that in the library because if I was in the hostel in first year, I'd be getting ragged, I'd be getting all sorts of work. So I wasn't able to study. So I'd pack up all my table lamps and go and occupy the seat in the library. I'd be there the first person because I want the switch wala seat so that all my table lamps could be connected. So it became from one table lamp to two, then to three, because I just had to illuminate the page so much more. And so I slowly had a multi-cord coming in with me. So it was like I was roaming around with a whole electric shop, and the space in my bag was filled with that. And a lot of people used to see that. They used to wonder, and they would ask me, "Ya tu karega kaise? Aage kaise karega?" So there were lots of funny instances about me. One day returning from the clinic side after a clinic which had gotten over late in the night, I was walking back on the road और सामने एक सब्जियों की ठेली थी. अब मैंने ठेली देखी नहीं, मैं बंदे की ठेली लेके आगे चल रहा हूँ. ऐसा ये हो गया. And I mean, my friends had to come and stop me and give the telly back because I was like, okay, why is this telly like, maybe it is, just ahead of me and someone else is pulling it, but why am I bumping into it again and again? There are times I have been talking to people and I've realized that I've not been talking to people. I have been talking to myself while walking back. There was even an instance where some of my friends used to prank me like that. They'd be walking on one side of me, and then slowly, as I was just talking to them, and the next thing I know is like one old lady is next to me, and I'm talking to her about something in physiology or pharmacology, and they're looking at me incredulously. So I've had lots of fun experiences with that. These were things that I could laugh about with friends, and some of them remember that still. So by about third year in med school, my vision dropped. It dropped to my current level where I'm only able to make out counting. I can count fingers, so that's something that ophthalmologists use to measure the amount of vision someone has. तो आंखों के सामने बस अगर मैं 1 या 2 मीटर पे I can make out some hands moving, and let's say I can count maybe 1 or 2 fingers. That too, you know, it has to be with contrast and all of those things. तो थर्ड ईयर में वो पूरा पैशन था. मतलब जो मेडिकल के कॉलेज में जो एंट्री मारते हैं ना लोग, सब पहले सोचते कि मैं सर्जरी करूंगा. मैंने भी ऐसे ही सोचा. आई गॉट अ प्राइज इन द डिसेक्शन कंपटीशन. मेरे को लगा यार मैं तो इसके लिए आई एम मेड फॉर दिस. Then this vision thing happened. Then I went into orthopedics and I just fell in love with that. I loved how bones and this thing. मेरे को तो लगा था यार कि मैं अगर ये नहीं करूंगा, ऑर्थोपेडिशियन नहीं बनूंगा, तो मैं कारपेंटर जरूर बन जाऊंगा. So it was quite intuitive for me in understanding how a fracture would be there and what are the lines and of stress, and you know how could it be put back. And I'd beg my ortho residents even in internship to let me use the drill and you know saw and you know try to do things. So my orthopedics HOD got me scrubbed up with him, and I did multiple operations with him, amputated limbs, took out some abscesses, and I was always assisting, but then it was fun. Those were exhilarating experiences, and I just look back and I just thank God that I got that chance, you know, because there are so many people who are just there to help you. I mean, and they see your struggle, and in seeing your struggle, they're like, you know, yeah, we are inspired by what you're doing. You know, looking at you makes me want to do more in my own life. So this is something which my orthopedics HOD told me, and I was like, I want to be in ortho. But then what happened was the medical superintendent at that time was also my ophthalmologist in the hospital. Now, I did my undergraduate studies from CMC Ludhiana. And so this medical superintendent says, this guy is really good for psychiatry. And so slowly that was how he posted me to psychiatry. So we have a service commitment whenever we study in CMC. तो आगे के 2 साल मेडिसिन खत्म करने के बाद I was there in psychiatry, and वो 2 साल we took the ward. I saw 3 HODs come and go. We took the ward from 0 patients to 18 patients on 17 beds. So it was superb, and I just felt that, you know, I can do this. And there were many times that I got to disclose to my own patients that, you know, I have this challenge, and you know, they were able to connect more. Some patients were able to make it out on by themselves, and then they would come and ask for me and talk to me about it. So these were things which happened. So from there, what happened was I found that no medical colleges would you know entertain a person with visual impairment for their PG studies, simply because जो आज के MCI की जो guidelines थी थोड़ी देर पहले, वो ऐसी थी कि person with visual impairment is incompatible with medical education, ऐसा करके लिखा गया था. तो वो एंट्री पे ही रोक देते. अगर कोई दृष्टि बाधित होता है तो उसको एंट्री पे ही रोक देते थे, नहीं करने देते थे उसको MBBS, कंप्लीट नहीं करने देते थे उसको MBBS. But with the support of so many people around me, I was able to complete that. And once I completed that, I even completed 2 years of work. So then that gave me some more confidence. And coming to when I found out that NIMHANS was there and I really wanted to come here and do that, I've heard a lot about it. मतलब आप समझ लो कि हर hospital में, I mean, every hospital which is there, you have one unit of psychiatry, you know, which is doing things. Here we have like 12 units doing things. And, you know, hospital beds in psychiatry where I was working was 17 beds. Now here we have 554 beds. So I was like, wow, this is the place that I want to go to. Before NIMHANS, I had also toyed with the idea of going to CMC Vellore. I thought that they'd help me out there. But then I realized that, you know, that's how when I realized that no colleges are willing to take a person with visual impairment to be a doctor for them. So through this, then I wrote the exams in NIMHANS 2014. They would allow testing accommodations. That was the first time I found a college which was going to allow me the use of a scribe to give an online exam. And ऐसा हुआ कि उन्होंने उस टाइम पे समझा नहीं था कि उन्होंने किया क्या है. उन्होंने लिखा था कि 40 से 70% डिसेबिलिटी जिसकी भी हो, मतलब 40 से 70% जिसकी भी विकलांगता है और उसका कोई प्रमाण पत्र हो, सर्टिफिकेट हो, तो उनको हम टेस्ट में हम हेल्प दे देंगे. तो जब उन्होंने ये किया, दे हैड नॉट स्पेसिफाइड कि सेंसरी डिसेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, मतलब कि आंखों या कानों की अगर डिसेबिलिटी हो तो सेंसरी इनपुट जो है वो कम हो जाता है, तो हमें लोगों से इंफॉर्मेशन लेने में, प्राप्त करने में थोड़ा सा बदलना पड़ता है. सो उन्होंने वो मेंशन नहीं किया था, तो एकदम से द नेक्स्ट ईयर वी सॉ द prospectus change so that they could say that it's only going to be locomotor disabilities that are allowed. But in 2014 I wrote the exam, I cleared it, I came in, and lo and behold, I come and I meet my thesis guide, and he's like, you know what, I want to see you prove everybody wrong about you. And he started supporting, he started helping out, he gave me a completely free hand. And I had come in with almost like 27 months of experience already into a course. I was a little bit ahead of all of my peers. Slowly that started manifesting in how I started managing patients and handling caregivers and emergency situations. There were hiccups. I mean, I had to learn the whole campus. This is a 135-acre campus. The wards are spread over. Like, मतलब बीच में ही garden है. ऐसा मैंने कभी कहीं नहीं देखा कोई अस्पताल में कि बीच में गार्डन है. There are people playing cricket and badminton इसके बीच में. But here, I had to learn all of that. So in the beginning, I was using my white cane. I was using torches and दूर से देखते हैं तो रात के 12 बजे मतलब कोई ऐसे पहरेदारी कर रहा है, चौकीदार आ रहा है, ऐसा लगता था. पर जब साथ में देखता है कि छड़ी भी है हाथ में, and then from there, that became something that everybody kind of recognized. And when that was done, people started helping out, and there'd be lots of dogs on the road and all, so people would drive it away so that I wouldn't get alarmed or I wouldn't step on them. And a lot of people were there to help. A lot of people were critical. People started excluding, saying that I can't do this. They would say they don't want me to see their patients. So I've had lots of good people, bad people in my life, and both things worked out to where I am today. I completed my MD successfully in the first attempt, and I was told that I did very well. And they were skeptical again of giving me a post on the basis of my MD. So I had to repeat a part of my residency for another 11 months. But once I did that, my particular department head was so helpful and supportive and impressed. He just said, no, I want you back in my own department. So I've spent now about 3.5 years in that department. Now I have about a few more months left, and I should be done with my qualifying senior residency, that's what's called, and I'm eligible now to become a faculty member. Through all of this, I got chances to mentor people. So there was a doctor who has lost her vision, and she herself is an ophthalmologist. So slowly guiding her to become a mental health physician herself was something that really made me see that you can make a difference. However small you think you are, you can make a big difference, and however small a difference you make, it's still a difference in someone's life. So then after that, another lady has taken up psychiatry and she's studying in Mumbai. Another biochemist who had the same issue as I did. He also had the same type of vision loss as I had, and he had purposely chosen a biochemistry so that he wouldn't have to be in the clinical field. He started talking to me, and now he's also thinking of getting into the fray. A few other doctors contacted. So I know that people are out there with these issues, and we're going to do something big. We're going to do something great. So now slowly we're trying to get people together, and we've just formed an association for all the psychiatric trainees in India. We're going to try and launch this and do something big with it. And it's going to be something which is going to be very mindful of persons with disabilities and their needs, and trying to help them with their training. So that's where I am, sir.